and thank you for watching this video. My name is Missy and I'm an astrologer. I focus on forensic astrology usually. The term forensic astrology is relatively new to me. I heard that term maybe within the past few years, but I have been doing forensic astrology for probably over 20 years. And I think I mentioned in a previous video that I was actually able to use astrology and some other methods to solve a crime that happened in the early 2000s. And I don't give out the details of it because at the time my son was really young and he was in school. And can you just imagine what that would have been like for him if, that would have come out about me on the news. I imagine he would have gone to school and other kids would have been saying things like, your mom is weird and stuff like that. And so, in order to protect other people in my life, I kept all of that really on the down low and confidential. I also don't reveal whether or not I get reward money. Now, I have some haters out there. It has come to my attention I have some haters. And I have some people out there saying things like, I shouldn't be focusing on this case or that case because I'm exploiting the suffering of a family and a missing person and whatnot. And I have two things to say about that. Number one, if I'm not mistaken, the reward money in one of the cases that I work on or have been working on through forensic astrology and some other methods, the reward money has already been decided as far as the distribution of it, and it's not going to any one individual, it's going to an organization that helps children, and I'm all about that. So money is not my motivation. And so I'd like to just get that off the table, let my haters know that. Another thing is my channel is probably not going to be monetizable because I use certain terminology. I don't get on here and cuss or anything like that, but I use certain terminology that might not be considered advertiser friendly. So whether or not my channel, and it's a really new channel, there's not even enough subscribers yet to even decide that, but my channel is probably not going to be monetizable. We'll see. That's left up to YouTube when I get so many subscribers or whatever like that. So what I wanted to talk to y'all about today is, what are the risks of doing astrology, forensic astrology, discussing cases online, on social media, and so on. And this one particular case that I am working on, I have been amazed at social media personalities and how they present their theories and opinions as facts and name names and things that can really cause a lot of legal problems for the social media personality. I'm all for free speech. I'm not saying I'm not. But apparently the law says that when you've crossed a certain line in your free speech and you've injured somebody else's reputation or whatnot, then you can be sued. You can be held liable for things like libel and slander and whatnot. So one case I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if this has been decided yet. This video is a couple of months old. I don't know if y'all listen to Dr. Todd Grande, but I'll put a link in the description box below. But he talks about a TikTok psychic that used the Idaho murders to falsely accuse a professor. And so now, of course, the person that was accused by the online psychic, they are suing the person that falsely accused them, that didn't have any proof of what they were saying other than their psychic knowledge. So people like me, we have to be really careful what we say online. We have to run it through a filter of, can I get sued for that? Could I get a death threat for that? Yeah, so we have to be really careful what we say. And I've had people say, well, you said that, you have an astrological suspect in mind. Why don't you just say his name? And I'm like, I can't do that because astrology isn't proof of anything. And so for me to come out and say, this person, is responsible for this person who is missing or whatever, and I don't have any proof, all I have is astrological data and, maybe a tarot reading or something like that, whatever it may be, that person then can hold me legally responsible. So, not going to be doing that. But anyway, it's a case involving Ashley Gilliard, I think, or Gilliard, no, Gilliard, Guillard. And all he's doing is talking about the case. Like I said, I don't know the outcome of it. I don't even know if it's been to court yet. I'm not bashing the TikTok psychic. I'm just saying that she has been brought up in a lawsuit after accusing a professor with the Idaho murders. So, yeah, we've got to be really careful, and so that's why it's not that I'm chicken and all the things I've been accused of by my haters, like I don't have courage and, I don't care enough about the missing person to blurt out the name of somebody based on astrology and all kinds of insanity like that. I also get a lot of haters because I've noticed that a lot of YouTube personalities are dead convinced that the family is involved with the disappearance of this person. And so, since they believe that the family did it or had some involvement in it, and I have come out and said that I don't believe that the family was involved based on my astrological study of the situation, I've gotten some haters for that too. And what can I say about haters? Opinions are like, what they're like. Everybody's got one, right? So there's things like that too that YouTube creators have to deal with. We have to deal with haters. We have to deal with maybe family members or whatever that hate us for what we're doing. People that accuse us of being tragedy pimps. Okay, stuff like that. Now, there might be some YouTubers out there who hope to profit from making videos and content about missing people and murderers and whatnot. And that's not my motivation at all. I have been studying astrology for over 40 years. I'm 54 years old now, and I started when I was 10. And I just love it, and it's a passion of mine. And I didn't have any motivation really for choosing my first case as the Summer Wells case, except for I'm also from Tennessee. And so I guess that was the reason that I chose it. It really had nothing to do with, I'm going to make money on these videos. Because like I said, I don't think my channel is going to be monetizable. I never even thought that from the start. That remains to be seen, but I don't think it will. And the reward money has been disputed for probably over a year. I'm not sure how long. And so I also knew that going in, so that wasn't my motivation either. It is just my interest in astrology and my desire to possibly help, because I have solved a case before. I don't have a perfect record with solving cases, I won't lie, because I'm human, okay? But I have a decent record, all right, which I can't, like I said, go into detail about. So we encounter a lot of risks. YouTube creators in the psychic and astrology realm. Another thing I'd like to clear up is psychics and astrologers, two different things. Psychics use things like tarot and whatnot, and I'm not bashing that because I use it too. Okay, that's one of my methods that I use along with astrology. But astrologers don't always practice anything in the psychic realm like tarot or whatever, and vice versa. There's a lot of psychics that don't fool with astrology, don't know a thing about it. I happen to do both, okay? But my interest is mostly in astrology. And so one thing that, for somebody who's thinking about going into this psychic astrologer thing, especially for pay, you have to consider the risks. First thing you have to do is check the laws in your state. It might not even be, a lot of times there's an ordinance in the city or whatever that says you can't do fortune telling for money or whatnot. And I'm sure that these ordinances were,
in response to claims,
came about, as a result of people getting taken advantage of by a psychic. And one thing that they like to do is keep you coming back and giving you information a little bit at a time and keep you paying for this and that. And so a lot of these ordinances were put in place to protect the public from things like that. But I wanted to call your attention to something that happened in Tennessee. It hasn't been too long ago. This is from the aclu-tennessee.org, and it's Williams versus the city of Sevierville, Tennessee. All right, and I'll put the link in the description box below, but the plaintiff was Rose Williams. The defendant was the city of Sevierville, and I'll just read real quick what it's about. In the fall of 2010, which hasn't been too long ago, Rose Williams decided to expand her fortune-telling business to a storefront location in Sevierville, Tennessee. She entered into a lease for a retail store in the downtown area in September of 2010, but was unable to open her fortune-telling practice after the city threatened to fine her and close down her business because of specific restrictions in city zoning ordinances placed on psychic and palm reading activities. Because Mrs. Williams was not allowed to practice fortune-telling at this location, she tried to make use of the space by selling retail items such as crystals and books. Okay. However, the business was not sufficiently profitable, and she was forced to close it in December of 2010. Subsequently, she had to pay rent for a business she had been unable to operate. So ACLU, Tennessee, so she went to the ACLU. They filed a lawsuit in federal court on Mrs. Williams' behalf, asserting that her rights to freedom of speech and expression were being violated by a local zoning ordinance that treats fortune-telling as an adult-oriented activity and severely restricts where psychic businesses can operate. As a result of the lawsuit, Sevierville amended its zoning ordinances in September 2012 and removed all references to psychic and palm reading activities. In other words, they retreated, they backed down, and they revised their ordinance so that she could operate in the manner that she had intended when she rented that space. The lawsuit was dismissed October 9th, 2012, after the revised ordinances took effect. So in order to have keep from paying that lady, losing a lawsuit, they just revised their ordinance and said, okay, go on and do your psychic and palm reading and whatever. So there's also, if I'm not mistaken, ordinances in several counties across Tennessee, but they can be defeated by the ACLU, and this precedent here can be brought up. So when a person goes into business doing astrology readings and psychic readings and whatnot, and they are taking money in exchange for it, this is what they get themselves into. And so you have to know your rights. You have to be prepared to be out of business for a while should a bunch of religious nuts get together and sign a petition and try to put you out of business or something like that. You got to be prepared for things like that if you're planning on getting into this area of knowledge and turning it into a business. That's all I'm saying. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to want to vilify you and call you a Satanist and whatnot. And I don't have anything against Satanists. You don't have to believe in God. What's it to me whether or not you believe in God, okay? I believe in God. I'm a Christian. And so, But for people to make those claims about me, they don't know me. They would have to not know me to say that, because, I do believe in the Lord. And I'm not ashamed of it. And, I'm going to assert that I am a Christian astrologer. And I'm also going to assert that, I do some quote unquote spiritual work. I do tarot and things like that. And, there are people out there that would say, well, you're just inviting evil into your home, or you're doing an evil practice or whatever. Now, the spirit world is accessible by anyone. And I believe that people's spirits are accessible whether they are alive or dead. It doesn't matter. Everybody has a spirit, okay? And so all psychic work basically is when a person who is acting as a quote-unquote medium asks the spirit world for guidance and help with interpretation of things like tarot cards, runes, etc., okay? And, if they are trying to do good with it, trying to solve a crime, something like that, if they're using the spirit world in a positive manner, trying to help humankind, then it's a good thing. I can't find any condemnation for that in the New Testament. Now, the Old Testament has some things in it, but the Old Testament, especially the King James, it's kind of tricky, because King James had a paranoia about what he thought a witch was, what he thought witchcraft was. And he honestly believed that 3 or 4 ladies that were accused to be witches had blown on the ocean with their mouths to create winds to try to capsize his ship while I think he was on his honeymoon or something like that. And it's insane. I'm sorry. That's just not even possible. And so, what can I say? What can I say about that? I just don't know. And so, everybody's got their different beliefs or whatever, but he believed that there were human beings that could capsize his ship, or try to, by blowing on the water with their mouths. Sorry. And so, what are the chances that while his version of the Bible was being translated, he didn't do some arm twisting with the scribes that he had hired or commissioned? And there's proof online, and I'll put some links in the description box below, where the King James Version does not match up to the original Hebrew and Greek Aramaic texts. Okay, so in other words, the Bible doesn't say that. And so I'll put some links below on that too. I've mentioned this in a previous video, so I'm not going to go into great detail. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the risks that psychics and astrologers and whatnot take when they involve themselves in looking at crimes through the eyes of astrology or psychic knowledge or whatever. It can be really tricky. We have to be really careful about what we say. Some of us are being a lot more careful than others. Some of us are getting, cease and desist orders and whatnot, which I haven't encountered that, because like I said, I've been really, really careful about what I say and what I don't say. And because, I don't want to encounter any legal problems, over something that, I shouldn't have said. So anyway, for my haters, it's not because I lack courage or anything like that. It's because I don't want death threats, and I don't want to get sued, okay, for saying something that I can be legally held responsible for. So just wanted to clear that up. And whether you love me or hate me, it's okay. I'm just tickled that you tuned into my channel and watched my video. And, I just appreciate the views and the likes and the comments. Even though some of them aren't very nice, I still appreciate them, because it shows that, people have the interest, at least. and are willing to learn and discuss things. So anyway, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll try to create some more content here as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.